Springtime celebrations of trees like Arbor Day have been happening around the world for at least hundreds of years. Once again, they're happening in Boston with events for a whole Arbor Week organized by Speak for the Trees Boston. These include everything from guided meditation to discussions about equity and climate change and tree giveaways around the city. To tell us what's planned is the organization's founder and executive director, David Meshoulam. Thank you very much for being with us, David.
Oh, thank you for hosting. Happy Earth Day.
Yes, and same to you. I want to ask you about the word equity because I'm sure this is not something you only started thinking about last year, but we're seeing this a lot more vividly or emphatically. What does that mean with your celebrations this year?
Well, we've always had one of our root values this issue around tree equity, and we've worked closely with an organization called American Forest to really unpack that term. And for us, tree equity means two things. It means who has access to the benefits of local trees, and second, who has access to the workforce opportunities for trees. So this year, we're doubling down on that idea of equity and the health benefits and the economic benefits, and really thinking about and exploring through things like our tree equity maps, what it means to have an equitable urban forest. And you'll be able to think about some of those ideas this year. The Boston Public Library is hosting an event with us on equity and environmental justice. We're doing a tree equity giveaway in Lower Roxbury on Saturday, May 1st. So it's really at the core of our mission, and we're continuing to explore those issues.
When I look at that tree equity map, what's not surprising is to see that there's more canopy in the southwest quarter or so of Boston, West Roxbury, Hyde Park, Jamaica Plain, and that's almost as commonplace as the cliche, leafy suburbs.
Yeah.
But go beyond the cliche. Why is it a bad thing if the rest of the city isn't as close to that?
Well, one of our guiding principles is the closer a tree is to you, the more you're going to benefit from that tree. So you see that in things like clean air or some of the heat waves we have over the summer. This is really a public health issue. When young children grow up in areas that have fewer trees, they're more prone to asthma. When older people grow up with fewer trees, they're more prone to heat stroke. So that issue of ensuring that every resident has the benefits of trees should be something that I think we all agree on, and we all do agree on it. Your zip code shouldn't determine the quality of the air you breathe or the livability of your neighborhood. Uh, so while we think largely in terms of like the whole urban forest, we also need to think strategically about which streets, which neighborhoods, which homes, which residents have those benefits of trees.
You also have events that remind me about the connection between trees and religions, not only Abrahamic religions, but even Buddhism. And you've got some discussion planned about that.
Yeah, we're really thrilled to be able to host three leaders who really think about the connection between religion and environmental justice. Reverend Mariama White Hammond, who has been a great mentor for me and is going to be the new chief of energy, environment, and open space for the city of Boston, will be speaking, as will be my dear friend Chris Ives, who is a Buddhist scholar over at Stonehill College. And as you may know, Chris, Buddha did his meditation under a tree. So there's a real symbolism there, a real connection in the Buddhist tradition. And then we also have Rabbi Shoshana, who will be speaking about her relationship with trees. And you can, trace back the very beginning of humanity to the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. So I like to remind people we're the only primates who don't spend any time in the trees. And I think there's something in our DNA that connects us to trees that you can sort of see in many of these world religions.
Well, one of the other things you're trying to do with events over the next few days, actually, is get more people to pitch in, get those seedlings, do something with them. What's the goal of that?
So we're so pleased to be partnering with about a dozen local community groups to give away 900 seedlings. I've just been bagging them in my backyard, getting them ready, and you can find where to get your own seedling on our website. And the idea is to get people to be part of this movement, is that climate change feels so overwhelming for us. what little piece can we do in our daily lives to improve our environment locally? And how can that connect us to a larger global effort to really combat not only the effects of climate change, but sort of mitigate and adapt our own communities to live in a new environment? Because whether or not we can reduce carbon, and I hope we can, uh, our environment has changed and will continue to change, and we'll continue to face hotter summers. So what can we do to adapt our local climate to that? And that's a real challenge. So we invite people to be part of this movement together to make our city more resilient.
And of course, one of the other things is I've noticed this in summers when I'm walking around the city. I always gravitate toward the shade.
Yeah.
My body's telling me something. Well, what do our bodies tell us here?
Our bodies tell us it's hot. And not only, the amazing thing about trees is not only do they provide shade that you walk under and you can enjoy and be cool, but they actually do this amazing thing where they suck up water. And the way that water gets sucked up is that actually the water is evaporating out the leaves. And as that water evaporates out the leaves, it actually cools the air around it. So you can think of a tree as this huge air conditioner that while it's shading, it's actually also doing something called evapotranspiration, and it's cooling whole neighborhoods. Um, so while you might be gravitating towards the shade, one of the things you might not be noticing consciously is that the air around you is cooler because of that water vapor in it.
I should mention that one of the other events you have that involve a kind of a giveaway is going to be happening at the Blair Lot,
Yeah.
Savor the Square. Tell us a little bit more about that.
We were so pleased to be reach out. The American City Coalition has been a great partner for us the past couple of years, and they invited us to kick off their Savor the Square series this summer with a spring event. It's coming the day after Arbor Day, so it's Saturday, May 1st, and we are going to be giving away these big, beautiful trees, 5-gallon bucket trees. So they're going to be as tall as you, Chris. And we invite people to sign up and reserve a tree, and especially residents in Roxbury in that community. That's a heat island. We invite you to come and pick up a tree. We'll teach you how to plant it in your backyard and how to take care of it. We have dogwood, we have oaks. It's going to be a great event from 10 to 2. We'll have music, we'll have vendors, we'll have other environmental justice organizations like ACE tabling there. A really, really exciting event.
One other thing, maybe looking beyond this particular week, the summertime, some jobs for teenagers.
Yeah, we're pleased to be able to offer a paid 6-week opportunity for teens. We've been running a Teen Urban Tree Corps, TUTSI, we call it for short, for the past 2 summers. Last year, unfortunately, it was all virtual, but this year we're looking to get kids out again, out away from their computers to learn about why trees matter. And we're also developing a workforce development component to the program. So we're going to be hiring teens 25 hours a week at $13 an hour to do this work, to learn about trees, to climb trees, to get to know trees, to plan for a resilient future together.
And finally, David, if people want to get some more details about this, especially the events over the next week, you've got a website they can check out?
Yeah, we're actually developing a brand new one. It should be ready soon. It's treeboston.org. And you can check out on our events page all the events happening. You can apply to be a member of our Teen Urban Tree Corps program. You can donate. Just join this movement. It's time that we get our hands dirty here.
All right, it's a good way to do it. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us, and happy Arbor Day as well.
Thank you.
David Meshoulam from Speak for the Trees, Boston.